The PlayStation 2 spawned many iconic gaming series, such as Ratchet & Clank, Time Splitters, and even the Grand Theft Auto games. These are all series that I'm sure all of us dumped many hours into as kids. But one of them I never got to play, which is held in such high regard, is the Sly Cooper trilogy. So I thought, why not go back now and get all the full experience of all three games and get the platinums for them? Of course, starting with the first game. Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus has 37 trophies including the platinum. Let's get into the journey. So this game's story is actually a complete banger. Obviously you play as Sly Raccoon and he comes from the Cooper clan, which is an ancestral line of master thieves. And on Sly's 8th birthday he was meant to inherit a book called the Thievius Raccoonus. This is a book that's passed down from generation to generation with all the tips and tricks of how to become a master thief in the Cooper clan. But unfortunately, on Sly's birthday, they were attacked by this crew called the Fiendish Five. Sly's father was killed and the book was stolen. So the plot of the game is you trying to take down the members of the Fiendish Five and get the book back. Sly's accompanied by two of his best friends, Murray and Bentley, and in the tutorial mission, you're tasked with stealing police files to find out where a member of the Fiendish Five is. And you're pursued throughout the whole game by this police officer called Carmelita Fox. And I'm not going to lie, she's a baddie. After you outrun Carmelita Fox and beat the tutorial, you go into the first mission of the game, which is infiltrating the base of Sir Raleigh the Bullfrog. I guess he was knighted by the Queen at some point for frog activities. But once you go in here, you can find these bottles, which is actually the only type of collectible in this game. There's a set amount of these in each level. For example, this first level here, there's 20. And when you collect all of them, you're able to unlock a safe that has a page out of the Thievius Raccoonus. And there's also trophies attached for doing this. I did get my first trophy right here for collecting 5 of them. Get a clue. Collect 5 clue bottles. I'm loving this game so far. I've only played like 5 minutes, but this is the best. Right after that, I just walked around breaking random stuff because it's always a fun thing to do and to learn the controls, and I unlocked another trophy. Thief heeds no warning. Destroy 4 signs in a stealthy approach. Okay, great. So the way the game structures, each clan member has their own location. The Fiendish Five is the clan, not Ku Klux. And there's always that beginning level where you kind of walk up to the main area of the location, and then there's different segmented areas marked by those green orbs. Each of those areas contains a key. You need the key from every area to progress in the level. And each area also contains bottles and a safe. You need to collect all the bottles and open all the safes to get the trophies for beating the level, and obviously the keys. Each level is very stealth and parkour based. It's really fun. Sly's equipped with what's called a cane, but let's be real, it's a scythe. But you can use the scythe to defeat enemies, swing over parts of the map, even close vents like you can see here. It's the main weapon you use throughout the entire game. I mentioned some levels have gimmicks. An example of that's right here, where you have to wear this barrel to avoid getting shot by those globes. And then you can also use the barrel to hide in and avoid getting spotted by guards. You can see that yellow light in the background. If you've ever played a game before, you'll know that's the enemy's field of vision. So yeah, I hope you've played games before so you understand that. I got to the last part of the map and collected the last 2 bottles I needed. Then I located the safe and input the code. The way this works is very simple. If you've collected all the bottles, Bentley will come in and just tell you what the code is. Once you open the safe, you get a page of the Thievius Raccoonus. It always has an ability or sometimes a collectible tracker for you. And this was the last one in this very first location, so I got a trophy for doing it. Open all vaults in Tide of Terror. Okay. This actually takes like a while. I reckon I've been playing for like an hour and a half, but this game's amazing. This game's so good. Literally right after I did that, I got the last key in the level, and that also gave me a trophy. Complete all jobs in Tide of Terror. Okay, so I think that's the level done. After that was the boss fight against Sir Raleigh. This was a pretty simple boss fight. He just tries to squish you or lick you the entire time. It's what I imagine Dinner with Harvey Weinstein would be like. But you just learn his attack patterns, and then when he's on cooldown, hit him, take damage, and eventually you beat him and you get the trophy. King Crook defeats Sir Raleigh. Amazing. The next member of the Fiendish Five you go after is Mugshot, and Mugshot's base is at the top of a casino, which is awesome because it means all this level set is inside a casino, which is just the best. Casinos are the best. They're the happiest places on earth. Definitely not. Like, if you go to one, it's definitely not incredibly sad and people have just ruined their lives. It's the best. So I love this level. This level's so cool, but that's because I love the casino. I don't think as a kid you really appreciate gambling. Well, maybe if you're a Logan Paul fan, you would. In this mission here, it takes 2 to tango. You're pursued the entire time by Carmelita the Fox. She's back, and she just kind of floats above the map and shoots you with this stun gun. It's very easy to avoid. As long as you're moving the entire time, you won't get hit. But if you complete this level without falling off the map, as I just did, but I used the rewind feature, so the game thinks I didn't. If you beat it without falling off the map or getting hit by the stun gun, you get a trophy. And Sly also makes it very clear that he'd like to shoot her with something else other than a stun gun.
I'm gonna hunt you down, Cooper. You can't run forever.
Oh. Complete 2 to tango without taking any damage or falling. Oh, great. In the next level, you're playing on top of a skyscraper, and the skyscraper will have a lot of cars hanging off of cranes for some reason. A lot of the clues you need to collect are located on top of these cars, which do fall down when you jump them. Had to have taken countless lives by dropping cars off a building, but if you do it 5 times, you unlock a trophy. What's that for? Drop 5 cars straight to the top. Okay. If you just try to get the bottles, you'll automatically get that. Literally 40 seconds after that, I opened this safe, which gave me the water safety technique. This just allows me to not take damage whenever I fall into water. But for whatever reason, this had a trophy attached to it. Structurally, I don't understand why certain abilities have a trophy attached when you have to open all the safes anyway, but I'm not saying no to free trophies. Discover the water safety technique. Okay, that'll be in this safe. After working through the next area of the level, I unlocked the trophy for opening all the safes. Safes or saves? Couldn't be saves. I got a trophy for opening every safe. There we go, that works. I'm leaving it in. Open all vaults and sunset snake eyes. Okay. So I'm done with this pretty much now. Right after that, I got another trophy for collecting the last key. Bringing down the house, complete all jobs in sunset snake eyes. I love this game. I missed out so much not playing this as a kid. This is so fun. Up next was the boss fight against Mugshot. It might be a skill issue, but I thought this was the most difficult boss fight in the game. You've got to walk around the map flipping these mirrors, and when you flip all of them, he takes damage. But it gets really, I don't know, like he just chases you around and he shoots you from like point blank range all the time. I abused the rewind feature to do this, but I did not have fun with this one. And the last part of this boss fight was really like more annoying than difficult. You have to flip all the mirrors again, but you have to hide behind the mirrors to avoid getting shot. But by doing that, Mugshot shoots the mirror and will flip it back around. So this is just a really annoying one to get. But finally I did it and I got the trophy. That's for beating Mugshot. The next crew member you go after is Ms. Ruby, and her base is located in this haunted swamp area, and it's just really good. Like I've kind of mentioned that I absolutely love this game, but one thing I haven't mentioned is due to the art style they used, the graphics just hold up really well, and everything just looks amazing. You also learn how to grind rails in this level, which is really fun too. One of the safes on this level also gives you the ability to scan enemies with your binoculars and read details about them. This is noteworthy because if you do this to 10 different enemies, you unlock a trophy. Really quickly into this level, I actually got the trophy for opening all the safes, and the reason for that being that there's a lot of vehicle levels in Vicious Voodoo, which is what this level is called. So I'll get into those a bit later, but here's the trophy for opening all the safes. Swampy Secrets. Open all vaults in Vicious Voodoo. Oh, that's so quick. This is like the 3rd or 4th part of it. Here's one of the vehicle levels, and the reason I want to talk about this is because it's really common in old games. Like I've platinumed a lot of old games on this channel. If you go back and watch them, you'll see me complain nearly every single time there's a vehicle level because the controls are always so janky and it's always so hard to maneuver everything. It's just really, really annoying. But in this game, there's race levels, there's vehicle levels like this one where you're just running and gunning. There's other ones where you're collecting things off the floor. And it always just feels so smooth and so seamless. I don't know if it's because of the actual game of itself or the port, but the vehicle levels in this game are just amazing. It's just so good to use. Like, okay, I'm using the rewind feature a lot. That's just because I'm bad at stuff. like I'm just not good, but the feel of it is just so simple. It's use the left analog stick to aim and to move forward, and use the right analog stick to shoot. Right after that was another one of those gimmicky levels. In this one, you've got to kill 50 chickens in 2 minutes, but you've also got to do it while avoiding killing the roosters because they explode and kill you. This was a really fun level, just really good. Like, even, I just mentioned it with the vehicle levels, but in other games, these type of like really gimmicky, like arcadey levels are always really bad and always really hard to control. But in this game, it's just fun. It just is. Oh, and I got a trophy for beating this. Disaster. Complete all jobs and disappeared. That's been my least favorite world so far. I really didn't enjoy that one. Up next was a boss fight against Ms. Ruby, and this was such a throwback boss fight. Like, it was basically just skill checks. Like, she tells you to copy her, and she just throws out buttons for you to press, and you got to avoid them. This was a really fun boss fight. But that being said, it was really fun because I had the rewind feature, and I could just rewind whenever I stuffed up. I think if I had to do this and start again every single time, I'd be really annoyed because it could be a bit janky in not thinking you press the button sometimes. Like, you had to time it perfectly for the hits to register. But after doing this, I of course got the trophy. Creepy Boogie. Defeat Ms. Ruby. The next person you go after is the Panda King, and then obviously with that the levels are all just Japan. But you can set off fireworks, which is so fun. One of the safes in this level gives you the ability to fall off the map without losing a life. You just respawn where you were before you fell, and that also gives you a trophy. Discover the briefly defy gravity technique. I don't know why I can't read. As I was going through the levels, I just kept setting off every firework I could see. Like, I was literally playing this on New Year's Day, and I got a trophy for setting off these 2 specific pink fireworks. Launch 2 pink fireworks and jewel by the dragon. Okay, great. As you can see here, I actually did collect every collectible in this level, but for whatever reason, you can't open the safe until after you've beaten the final boss. So I need to come back and do that later. But I did get the trophy for doing every single job in this level. Production blocker. Complete all jobs and fire in the sky. Oh, that was really quick. The boss fight against Kung Fu Panda could not have been easier. Definitely the easiest in the game. You just had to avoid his fireballs and then run up these stairs and hit him. You do that like 4 or 5 times and you unlock the trophy. It literally took like 6 minutes. The pummel. That was the easiest boss fight so far. The next member of the crew you're going after is Clockwork. This level's structured a bit differently from the other ones. There's no collectibles. There's not a typical level format. You're just kind of slowly making your way up to the top of his hideout. You start off here in this vehicle shooting things in your path. That could be minefields, enemies, or rocks falling from the sky. Not the sky, from the top of the mountain, obviously. Then you play this mini game where you have to collect 60 computers that are falling from the sky, in the correct sense this time, before the fire crabs do. Then you've got to free our big booty Latina girlfriend, Carmelita Fox, because she has been imprisoned by Clockwork. Then you have to play a little mini game as Bentley where you're hacking Clockwork's security system. This is really fun. You've got to collect those yellow blocks by destroying the green blocks, but very aesthetically pleasing, very enjoyable level. After you break Carmelita out of prison, she decides to call a truce with you and you decide to work together in order to defeat Clockwork. She then shoots people coming after you as you traverse the mountain in order to gain your scythe back. Clockwork's base begins to self-destruct and seep into the lava, so you've got to try and climb all the way up to the top before it can do that. This is very simple. You finally face Clockwork, and he reveals that he's been trying to take down your family for generations. He's been kept alive for hundreds of years through severe hatred. So I guess he's a Sith, basically. Like, he's Darth Maul. But once you defeat him, you obviously get the trophy for beating the boss. And you get a trophy for finally kissing Carmelita. And that's the end of the story. Eternal enemy. Defeat Clockwork. Great.
It took some tricky maneuvering, but I managed to snatch that last one.
I started the post-game cleanup by going and opening that one vault I couldn't open until I defeated Clockwork. Save cracker. Open all vaults and fire in the sky. Okay, now I've just got to go do like random trophies, like miscellaneous stuff. I also realized that I should have gotten a trophy when I climbed to the top of Clockwork's base. I don't know why it didn't pop the first time. I don't know if I went to the wrong spot at the top or it was just bugged. But I went in and got it again. It took me like 2 minutes. Death Ray Destruction. Foil Clockwork's plans in the cold heart of hate. I don't know why they didn't pop the first time. That was a story trophy. I quickly got another trophy for seeing the description of 10 enemies with my binoculars. Knowing is half the battle. Learn the names of 10 enemies. The next trophy I went for was for beating the level fire down below without using the hooks. As you can see on screen, there's those yellow hooks there. I meant to swing on those to get up to the level I'm at now, but there is a way to bypass it, as you just saw, by climbing onto the top of that radiator part. So that's all I had to do here, and then upon beating the level, I unlocked the trophy. Nimble Solutions. Complete the fire down below without grabbing any hooks. And I also beat it in like whatever the time limit was. So I'm working towards the time trials too. The next challenge was to beat a cunning disguise without using the barrel. As you saw earlier in the video, I had to use that barrel to not get shot by these two globes. But it's actually very easy to get past without the barrel. You can just damage boost through this first one. And then instead of riding the elevator down, just jump to these bookshelves over here and use them to jump over the thing. Which, as you can see, I did flawlessly. You can bypass the third one by literally just walking around it. And once you get upstairs, you can use the railing here to just jump past the fourth one. And to get through the last one, just use your second damage boost. I'm in the library. Easy. The next challenge is to use the shortcut in Gunboat Graveyard. This is another really simple one. Just climb up on this rope and jump down to that crow's nest there. And then jump over the flaming sticks. Oh, I did it, finally. Take a shortcut over flame debris in the Gunboat Graveyard by using the crow's nest. It was actually a very self-explanatory trophy. For the next challenge, you just have to break 7 pieces of glass in Back Alley Heist. You can start with these first 4 panes of glass right when you spawn into the level. Then just break these bits of glass towards the end of the level. What a pain. There we go. Destroy 7 panes of glass. These are easy trophies. This is good. The next challenge was to destroy 2 enemies with the same mine. The mine's an ability you unlock really early in the game. You just press triangle to throw your hat into an area, and then press triangle again to detonate it. So this was super simple to get. Just wait for the 2 guards to walk over the hat, detonate it. Easy trophy. Until it's mine. Defeat 2 or more enemies with the same mine. Oh, great. There was also another trophy in this level for killing all 4 guards without alerting them. It's important to use the mine for this as well, as even if you sneak up behind them and hit them, they'll be alerted. But this is another easy trophy. Sleight of hand. Defeat all 4 casino enforcers. I don't know why I said bum when I got it. I meant to say boom, but it works. The next trophy was the exact same. I just had to defeat all of these guards without being detected. And again, it's best to use the mine for this. Must have been the ghosts. Okay, just did the exact same thing as last time. I'm flying through these now. The next trophy was for defeating 5 ghosts with a single attack in Grave Undertaking. This was super simple to do. Just go into this area here, kind of train the ghosts like you would in like COD Zombies or whatever. Don't use the old name of what training zombies is called though. Use the new name. And then use your stun ability and you can go behind them and kill them all from the back, unlocking the trophy. Ectoplasmic Splash. Easy done. The next trophy is in Lair of the Beast, and during the chase scene, you've got to not destroy any of those candles. So this is actually really simple to do. There's only a few candles throughout the chase scene, and whenever you see them, just jump right over. If you accidentally break one, you can rewind, and this is another really easy trophy to get. I did it. I thought that would be way harder. The next trophy was for beating the level Descent into Darkness without killing any enemies or destroying any alarms. This is very easy to do except for this one part of the level right here. To get through it, you want to use your invisibility skill to crawl over to this part of the path where the torch doesn't touch. Then you should be able to just jump around the flashlight and up to here. And then just throw a decoy, and while the guards focus on that, you'll have enough time to get around him. Then if you've played by the rules, you'll unlock the trophy upon completing the level.
Please tell me I did it. Oh, thank God. Complete the 10 danger without defeating any enemies or destroying any alarms. That was the toughest so far.
The next challenge is in the level The Unseen Foe, and you've just got to alert every guard of your presence and trigger every alarm. Taking out the guards is super easy. You've just got to avoid them until you're pretty much right in front of them, and just make sure they see you before you kill them, and you're easy. And then triggering the alarms is obviously as simple as triggering the alarm, and whenever they come back around to you, you can just go invisible and they won't affect you. Which, as you can see on screen, I did really well. Nice and clean. Anyways, just do that to every alarm, beat the level, you get the trophy.
Yes. Seen and wanted. Great.
And the last challenge type trophy is for killing all these monkeys in the Temple of Flame. This is super simple, but can be a bit tedious because you've got to climb up this. Like, you've got to sneak around it every time, then climb all the way back up to the chandelier thingy. But super simple trophy, and the last one of the challenge set.
This session's over. Defeat all the training Mugu monkeys. Okay. Now I think all I have left, is the time trials. Yes. That's it.
I left the time trials to last because I guess I've just played too much Crash Bandicoot, but I thought that would be the most difficult part of the platinum. But it's not. They were super easy. You don't even need to complete the time trials on every level, only on 10 levels in the game. And it's super simple to do. If you go on PSN profiles, they'll actually show you the best 10 levels to complete the time trials on. And all of them take under 2 minutes. Like, I think to get the 10 time trial trophies literally took me about 15 minutes max, and I didn't have to retry any of them. You don't even need to watch a guide or anything on YouTube before you go into it, especially with the rewind feature. So the last one here that I had to get was in Layer of the Beast. I'd already played this level like 2 or 3 times over, so I knew it pretty much off by heart by now, and I was really confident. And when I got it done, I got the last trophy and the platinum.
Yes. Amazing game. The best game ever. So fun.
So the first Sly Cooper game was done, and it was some of the most fun I've ever had. And I'm going to come out and say it right now. Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus is a top 10 game of all time. So with that in mind, I was super excited to move on to the second game. Sly 2 Band of Thieves was released just 2 years after the first game. It has 35 trophies, including the platinum, and here it is. Sly 2 follows the events of the Thievius Raccoonus in that pieces of Clockwork's body after you've defeated him in the first game have been recovered by the Claw Gang. So there's 8 chapters in this game, 8 levels in total, you could say. And each chapter is basically its own individual heist mission where you infiltrate a member of the Claw Gang's base and try to recover the Clockwork parts. The first chapter of the game is set in France where you have to infiltrate Dimitri's hideout. Dimitri is a failed art student whose visionary ideas were rejected by the art world, so he turned to a life of evil. Great, yeah, look, we know who they stole that storyline from, don't we? But these levels are more of an open hub world as opposed to the first game, so the levels aren't done linearly, it's more of an open world location, meaning the clue bottles are much harder to find because you don't just make your way through a level and then know where you've missed one. You kind of have to walk around and do it yourself. So when I first spawned into a level, I decided to go look for the bottles first. I tried to find about 20 or 25 out of the 30 and then just play the missions normally, as usually you would just naturally find the remaining bottles playing the missions. Oh, I should also mention Dimitri has the Clockwork feathers, which is what we're trying to steal. You know those steel feathers? We're trying to get those. This game's trophy list is also very straightforward. There's a trophy for completing each chapter of the story, for opening the vault in each chapter, and then each chapter will have 1 or 2 little mini missions you need to do that also grant you a trophy. Before I get into the game's mission structure, I actually get my first trophy right here for breaking these briefcases that have the Epstein client list in them.
A monetary briefing. Find 10 cash briefcases in episode 1. Okay. I've just been walking around breaking shit, honestly.
Oh, I also opened the vault right here pretty early on in the level, which is always a trophy.
Knock them out. Open the vault in episode 1. Okay, and just like the first game, it's just abilities, I guess.
The game also introduces loot right here. There's this painting you have to bring back to the hideout. Every level has 2 or 3 pieces of loot like this, and you actually get a trophy for selling 50 unique pieces of loot in the game. So overall, there's about 24 or 25 of those like main pieces of loot. And then there's also loot you can pickpocket from guards, such as there's pocket watches, so you can get a bronze pocket watch, a silver pocket watch, a gold pocket watch, and there's many things of that nature. There's 55 in total, and you need to sell 50 of them, which ends up being the most difficult trophy to get in the game. Not really difficult, just tedious, but we'll talk about that later. So I actually found the game's this game very tedious, and it's mostly because of the way the levels are laid out. It's always the exact same thing in each level. It's do some reconnaissance as Sly. This usually involves taking photos of things you need to use in later missions, or following someone. As you can see here, we're following Dimitri. Then when you play as Murray, it's always either beat up a lot of people, throw X object at Y object, or lift something really heavy. And that's every Murray mission in the game. And then whenever you play as Bentley, it's always some version of hacking. It gets very repetitive over the course of the entire game. There's also this character, Neela. You don't play as her, but she's integral to the story. She is the deputy of Carmelita Fox. She's also looking for the Clockwork Parks, and she elicits the help of Sly, as he doesn't need a warrant to go into people's places, legal loopholes, all that jazz. And she has a British accent, so there's no way she could be evil, right? Then while playing as Sly, you have to pickpocket keys from these guards. Every mission in the game is some version of all those things I just showed you. I found it to be really repetitive, but I know some people do really love this game. Anyways, eventually you get to the boss fight against Dimitri. It's one of those very simple boss fights where you just wait for him to finish his attack pattern and then damage him. Eventually you do that, and he actually calls you a slur, which is fun, right before you get the trophy.
You crackerbox.
Love when a plan comes together. Complete all jobs in episode 1, Black Chateau. Probably said that wrong.
The next chapter is set in India, where the Clockwork Wings and Heart are. They're being held by Rajan, who's a spice dealer, and is using the Clockwork Parks to produce spice. Spice, I'm assuming, is like black tie heroin, in which case, let's just do that instead of trying to find the parts. That sounds way more fun. At one point in this level, we have to dance with Neela in a ballroom, and Sly, the dirty dog, was definitely trying to slip fingers, but he was also doing this to make Carmelita jealous and get her attention because he needed to talk to her. I forget exactly why, but it was very important. Then I opened the vault, which of course gave me another trophy.
I'm going insane. Open the vault in episode 2. Great. I'm not going insane. This is actually very peaceful.
I finally ended up dancing with Carmelita, and we had such raw sexual chemistry that everyone in the ballroom was so distracted that Murray was able to steal the Clockwork Wings. Then playing as Bentley, we had to protect Murray while he escaped Rajan's palace, and upon doing that, got the trophy for finishing the chapter.
Save of the moment. Complete all jobs in episode 2. No boss fight that time, which is interesting.
Rajan then flees to the deep jungle of India with the Clockwork Heart. Of course, we chase him to try to recover the heart from him, and I get a trophy here for once again opening the vault.
Just shocker. Open the vault in episode 3. The Predator awaits.
We once again run into Neela, and we actually ask her on a date to, and I quote, eat curry all night, which is not what you want to do on a first date, but we defeat Rajan, and Neela actually ends up betraying us. So Neela betrays Sly at the very last moment, resulting in Sly getting seriously injured. You then have to fight Rajan as Murray. After you defeat Rajan, Neela actually shows up to arrest Sly and Murray. She also rocks up with a head person at Interpol, which is the Contessa, this massive spider bitch. I don't know, she's really freaky. And then freaky in the sense that, you know, not like a freak. She might be a freak, but I meant just freaky looking. Neela also, I don't know what I'm doing here. Neela also accuses Carmelita of being in cahoots with the Cooper gang, which gets her fired from Interpol. And then just Bentley remains, and his next goal is, of course, to break Sly and Murray out of prison. That's what's going on in the next chapter, but before that, I get the trophy for completing this one.
Hollywood will have to wait. Complete all jobs in episode 3.
You then go to Prague, where Sly and Murray are being held in prison, and playing as Bentley, you break Sly out of prison. And then I opened the vault, which of course gave me another trophy.
Vault in episode 4.
Each character also has abilities that you can be purchased. One of them for Murray is Fist of Flames, which make his punches fire punches, I guess. And if you defeat 5 guards using Fist of Flame, you get a trophy, which I did right here.
One and done. As Murray, defeat 5 guards with Fist of Flame. Okay.
Sly and Bentley then bust Murray out of prison, and you find out the Contessa is actually in cahoots with the Claw Gang, and she is using spice to run psychological experiments. You do this, you escape the prison with Murray, and you get the trophy for beating the chapter.
Thank you, Wizard. Complete all jobs in episode 4. That took like a while. The levels feel really long compared to the first game.
You then follow the Contessa to this gothic castle she lives in. We love a goth baddie. Maybe she is a freak after all. And you find out she's got Carmelita captive, and she's also got the clockwork eyes, which she is using to hypnotize people. I just want to point out this mission here as well. This is really fun. You're using traps to kill enemies coming towards you as Bentley. I just want to point it out because this was like the first time the game did a mission that wasn't just super repetitive and had been done to death before. Like I pointed out earlier in the video, it was always reconnaissance or photography, and then strength stuff as Murray, and then hacking as Bentley. And this wasn't the only time there was actually something a little bit different, type of minigame type thing. I thought this mission was really fun. I wish there'd been more stuff like this in the game. And once again, here's me opening a vault.
You're not you when you're angry. Open the vault in episode 5. I gotta tell you, this is good, a good sequel, just doesn't have the same charm as the first game.
As Bentley, you get to hack into Contessa's prison system and free Carmelita. Then as Sly, you chase down Neela, who has stolen the clockwork eyes. Then you fight Contessa, who has the other clockwork eye. In one of the laziest boss fights ever, you literally just hack and slash her. And you win that, that's the chapter finished.
Eye on the prize. Complete all jobs in episode 5. Do these levels take ages?
The next level is set in Canada, where you're chasing after John Besson, a member of the Claw Gang who has got the clockwork stomach, lungs, and talons, and he's used them to create an intricate train system to transport spice. And look, I don't know about you, but they already used the failed art student story earlier, and now they're using a train storyline. I'm just throwing that observation out there. But I also got a trophy right here for pickpocketing 5 guards without being noticed.
Sleight of hand. As Sly, pickpocket 5 pieces of loot without being detected. I've definitely done that. I'm on chapter 6, and I've been pickpocketing the whole time. I'm glad it popped at least, but I don't think that's correctly judged.
And of course, right here, I get my mandatory vault opening trophy.
It's a sleeper hit. Open the vault in episode 6. It's a music box, so I wonder what it does.
Turns out it actually just distracts enemies, and when you throw it at Carmelita Fox, who's also here looking for Jean Besson, a trophy pops.
No resting until I have Cooper. As Sly, throw a music box at Carmelita. Okay, great.
You find out Clockwork Stomach is being used to power this train, so of course you pull off a train heist, which is always the most, I think this was the most fun level in this game. Train heists are always the best levels in games. I recently did Time Splitters Future Perfect. That had a great train level. San Andreas has a great train level. Train levels are just amazing. Neela then shows up in a helicopter, so you've got to try to beat her as Bentley. And while you do that, Sly, of course, grabs a Clockwork Stomach, ending the level.
Heist on rails. Complete all jobs in episode 6. Man, I love a train level. I love a train heist.
Chapter 7's also in Chapter 7 is also set in Canada. It's nearly the exact same thing. This time we're going after the talons, which are being used to cut down trees. And there's also something weird going on with the Northern Lights. That's basically the story. But I accidentally got a trophy right here.
Way to go. Destroy 5 outhouses in episode 7, Menace in the North. What are the outhouses? Alright. I'll take a trophy.
Obligatory opening the vault trophy.
Shocking moves. Open the vault in episode 7, and I got another gadget I'm never gonna use.
This whole level culminates in this set of games you play against Jean Besson. He does this competition where you play 3 games. It's an axe chopping competition, a climbing competition, and a balancing competition. And highest score across the 3 games gets to keep the Clockwork Talons. But of course, Jean Besson has like threatened the judges. So if they give him a bad score, they're executed basically. So it's an unfair game. But this is what the whole end of the level is. The Cooper gang ends up getting captured by Jean Besson, but Bentley manages to escape, and you've got to then beat him in this trap-esque boss fight level. This was definitely the most fun boss fight. It's also the same mechanics as the little mini game I showed you earlier. But upon defeating him here, the Cooper gang actually goes into hiding and loses all of the clockwork parts. It's a very miserable, sad, bleak ending to the chapter, but you do get a trophy.
Is this the end of the Cooper gang? Complete all jobs in episode 7. I didn't see anything that would make me think it was the end of the Cooper gang. But
In episode 8, the Cooper gang goes to Aparigio's blimp. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but that's his name. This is above France, so I'm guessing it's French. But they go to stop him from reassembling all the clockwork parts, which is his goal, because basically he's upset that like he's always been small and could never fly. So he's Elon Musk, basically, I guess. And you're going there, he's trying to reassemble the clockwork parts, but he's actually betrayed by Neela, who becomes Clock Neela, I think. Clock Neela? It was a really dumb name, but she becomes Clock Neela, and she ends up being the main villain of the game. Who saw that coming? I also got another accidental trophy right here for destroying 5 of these metal eggs.
make me a steel omelet. Destroy 5 metal eggs. Okay, cool. I didn't destroy them, they just popped out, but I'll take the trophies.
And now get ready to shed a tear, because for the final time in this game, I opened the vault.
It's the last vault, thank God, man. Looking for those bottles was such a pain in the ass. I'm so glad to be done with that.
Carmelita ends up coming in on a helicopter and lets you act as the gunner after calling a truce. So exactly what happened in the first game. You and Carmelita call a truce and team up to defeat Clockwork or Clocknessa in this in this regard. I can't speak. I'm sorry for not being able to speak in the voiceovers. You then parachute onto the back of Clockwork and you destroy her. And lastly, it's revealed that Clocknessa has a hate chip that drives her hate for the Cooper gang and keeps her alive. So you use the skills of Sly, Bentley, and Murray to team up and remove the hate chip, which ends the level.
Victory, but at what cost? Well, I think Bentley was made into a paraplegic.
Bentley did not end up becoming a paraplegic, and Sly makes a deal with Carmelita that he will go with her to prison if she lets Bentley and Murray walk. Then they endure like a helicopter ride across Paris, where it's basically a date, they hit it off, fall in love, blah blah blah. But at the last moment, Sly escapes, and that's the end of the story. With all the story trophies now done, I just had to go back and clean up all the random ones that were scattered throughout levels. The first one being for destroying this DJ equipment, which causes a different song to play at the nightclub.
Let me shine you. Listen to Dimitri's greasy sweet remix in episode 1 of the Black Shit 2. Okay. That's all episode 1 trophies done.
The next one was in episode 2. I had to go to Rajan's temple and climb it as Bentley, which can only be done with the jetpack upgrade.
Guy Turtle. As Bentley climbed to the roof of Rajan's palace. I thought that was bugged for a second because it didn't pop straight away.
The next trophy was very easy. As Murray, you had to pick up a guard and carry him into the safe house.
Honorary Cooper. As Murray, bring a guard into the safe house. I can't speak. That's episode 2 trophies done. I'm going to pickpocket a bit because there's a trophy. I'll show you. For selling 50 unique pieces of loot. So there's obviously, I think I would have shown you the like special loot that's in every level. There's like 2 or 3, but there's also loot you get from pickpocketing. And I'm guessing there's 50 in the game because you've got to sell all of them. There's usually like, there's a pocket watch and there's a bronze, silver, and gold version, or there's a gold bar, gold nugget. It's really annoying. There's no way to keep track of it. So I'll see how I go here.
My next trophy was for destroying 10 briefcases in episode 3. This, I must have actually already destroyed 7 on my first playthrough, because here I only destroyed 3 and that popped the trophy.
Hidden wealth. Find 10 unique cash briefcases in episode 3. Okay, great. Back to pickpocketing, which has been so much fun.
There's another trophy in chapter 3 for killing 3 enemies with this turret.
Ancient Century. We're not in a job to three guards with a turret. Making some progress.
The next trophy was for using a snooze bomb, reduction bomb, and health extractor on 1 enemy.
Wizard of Chaos. As Bentley used a snooze bomb, reduction bomb, and health extractor. Okay, that was very simple. Time to pickpocket. I'm going to stop saying time to pickpocket after every trophy. It's probably getting really annoying.
The next trophy was a really weird one. You have to go into this room in chapter 5 and clear the room of all its enemies. And then look at the center of the room with your binoculars and this ghost will appear.
Gone but not forgotten. Pay respect to a ghost of the past. I don't know what that is.
This next trophy is actually like a little bit like finicky. Like it's for killing all 5 of these guards without being seen while also using a rage bomb. The best way to do this is to get all 5 guards in one spot, then drop the rage bomb on them. This will cause them to fight and kill each other. But this can be very annoying, as when they do that little spin move that they do, they won't actually hurt each other. So you've got to keep throwing rage bombs, keep throwing music bombs to get them all into one spot and get them to defeat each other. It's just trial and error, this one. And then once 1 guard remains, take them out with the lightning bolt without being seen, and the trophy will pop.
Blind with Rage. As Sly, with the help of the Rage Bomb, defeat all 5 guards in the vault room. That's probably the hardest so far. There's just very little room for error.
The next trophy could not be easier. In chapter 6, you just got to kill a bear playing as Murray without taking damage.
Dear the Murray. Defeat a bear without taking any damage.
The next trophy was for shrinking 5 guards as once, playing as Bentley. This is easiest in the vault room. From that trophy, we played as Sly with the rage bomb. This is really simple. Just get them all together, put the shrink bomb down, you'll get the trophy.
Attack of the Giant Bentley. Shrink 4 guards at once. That was very simple.
At this point, I only had 2 trophies left. One was, of course, for selling 50 unique pieces of loot, and the other was for buying every gadget in the store. I would have enough coins to buy every gadget once I'd sold all the loot I'd been accumulating, so one took care of the other. But I decided to sell every bit of loot in my inventory right here for the moment of truth to see if I would get the platinum.
This is all the stuff I've got. As you can see, there's a lack of like bronze stuff, so cross your fingers, cross your toes. Let's see if we get the trophy. Alright, I'm just going to go through every level again, pickpocketing, trying to get bronze items. It's going to be fun.
Bronze items were definitely the hardest to get, as there's 2 types of guards in this game. There's flashlight guards. They always hold a gold or silver item. And then the non-flashlight guards always hold bronze or silver. But the drop rate of bronzes was just atrocious. So I literally spent about 20 minutes, 30 minutes in each level pickpocketing, trying to get bronze items, which I rarely did. I ended up getting the Sly Cooper wiki up, which has a list of every item you can pickpocket, and I went through, cross-referenced everything I could remember getting, and I went through the videos to see what I'd gotten, and I realized at that point I only needed 2 more items to get. I also realized in the 8th level, I'd been getting gold bars or gold nuggets every single time I pickpocketed a guard, but there was actually 3 instances of a diamond you could get. There was a large diamond, medium diamond, and a small diamond, and I hadn't gotten either. So I just needed to get 2 of those, and I would be able to sell and get the trophy. I ended up getting the large diamond about an hour before the clip you're watching now, which is me finally getting the small diamond.
Okay, I might have done it. Where's the safe house? Oh, please. Yes! Yes! Oh my god, I was so scared that was going to take forever. Master Thief, let's go. And now all I have to do is just buy these. No challenge too daunting for the Cooper gang, and Brotherhood of Thieves. Thieves. I can't speak. Thank God.
Now, I know a lot of people regard Sly 2 as one of the best sequels, if not one of the best games ever, but it just wasn't for me. I found it incredibly boring. Running from one cutscene to another is just not my style of game. I want to play, I want to platform, I want to collect stuff. I don't want to hear Bentley ramble on and on. So going into the third game, I hoped it would take after the Thievius Raccoonus more than it took after Band of Thieves. Sly 3 Honor Among Thieves was released just a year after the second game, and it has 37 trophies including the Platinum. Sly 3, unfortunately for me, was just a reskin of Sly 2 in terms of gameplay, but the story is a banger. We start with the game's prologue, which also serves as the tutorial, where Sly and Bentley are trying to break into the Cooper Vault before Sly is captured by Dr. M. We then play through all the events leading up to this, which is the game's main story. In the first episode, we find out that Murray has left the gang due to feelings of guilt over what happened to Bentley after the events of the second game. Murray has therefore gone on a spiritual journey to the outback of Australia, where he's learning the dream time from an indigenous guru. To convince Murray to return to the gang, Sly and Bentley have to help him clean the waters of Venice, which are being poisoned with tar by a mob boss called Don Octavio. In this episode, Bentley devises a plan to lure Carmelita to Venice to take out members of the Mafia. You get to play as her, and while doing this, if you destroy 5 shop signs, you get a trophy.
Target practice. Finally, I get a trophy. Destroy 5 hanging signs in the turf war job. Man, so far, I'm like an hour in. The game's just been cutscenes. Like I just want to play, man.
In this game, there's also traps you can use to kill guards, and right here I got a trophy for killing 3 guards with a water trap.
Time to cool off. Defeat 3 guards with the water traps. Let's go. Finally getting some trophies.
When you're not watching cutscenes in this game, you're doing one of the most boring missions I've ever had to do. This is almost worse than the GTA 5 Michael Yoga mission. It's not all bad though, there are some fun vehicle missions. For the boss fight against Don Octavio, you play as Murray, where you have to drag him into this tar in order to fight him. And once you beat the boss, you all become friends again, and you get the trophy for beating the level.
Muscle Murray. Complete all jobs in episode 1 in Opera of Fear. Dude, it's literally like 45 minutes worth of missions, and they take you 3 hours because there's so many cutscenes.
The second episode takes place in Outback Australia. Murray wants to go back to get permission from his guru to rejoin the gang. Upon doing so, you learn heaps of stories about him and his abilities, and Sly and Bentley decide he will be the perfect person to join the gang and help them break into the Cooper Vault. While you're in Australia, you also find that the Outback has now been mined for opals, and it's under the control of an evil mask that possesses people, which of course the gang has to stop. My first trophy of this level was for using Murray's power-up, where he becomes a bouncy ball to defeat 5 guards.
Master's Apprentice. As Murray defeat 5 guards with the B-ball power-up. Amazing. It's nice to actually do something in this game.
You do get to play as the guru, but he is a pacifist, therefore you can't attack enemies with him. But you are able to jump on the back of enemies and control them, which makes no sense to me, because if you think physical violence is bad, surely completely taking away someone's free will and possessing their mind is way worse. But if you possess a guard and use him to defeat 3 other guards, you do get a trophy.
Boggling the mind. As the guru, attack 3 guards with the same possessed guard. Okay, easy.
A little bit later on, playing as Sly, I pickpocketed 5 guards in a row without being spotted, which got me another trophy.
Cooper Special. As Sly, pickpocket 5 pieces of loot without being detected. Okay, easy.
Towards the end of the episode, Carmelita turns up to track you down. She gets possessed by the mask, which turns her really big. Therefore, you have to climb her in order to get the mask off her, and while doing so, if you jump on her tail, you get a trophy.
Grab some tail. As Sly jump into Carmelita's tail and grab some tail. I get it.
Once you get the mask off of Carmelita, it is then destroyed, which of course ends the level and a trophy.
The Mystic the Guru. Complete all jobs in episode 2, Rumble Down Under. Oh, okay, that's done. Sweet.
At the start of episode 3, the gang decides they're going to need somebody very techy and way more superior to Bentley if they're going to break into the Cooper Vault. That's where we find Penelope, who Bentley also wants to smash, so they must recruit her. She denies to join the gang as she only works with the best in her mind being her boss, the Black Baron. If the gang can defeat him in a flight race, she will join them. I pretty quickly got my first trophy in this level for climbing to the top of this radar dish.
This is Sly over. As Sly ride the radar dish in episode 3. Sweet.
There's another trophy in this level for using traps. This time it is for dropping a plane on a guard.
The sky is falling. Drop a plane on a guard in episode 3. I'm about to die as well.
There was a mission here which I think it kind of shows the charm of this game. You're trying to sabotage the Icelandic team's plane for the race, so they're going to all like fall out of the sky and die. It's actually really dark when you think about it. And when you're doing this, you have to pickpocket a hanky from the Belgian team, so the Icelandic team will think it's the Belgian team that sabotaged them, and therefore they'll fight amongst each other. Also, while doing this, I got a trophy for pickpocketing as all 3 members of the gang.
Thieving Opportunist. Pickpocket loot with Sly, Bentley, and Murray. Oh, easy.
A foil in the crew's plan is that Mugshot is here, and they fear that Mugshot will be able to take down the Black Baron before they can. Therefore, they once again lure Carmelita over so she can arrest him. This is a little mini boss fight. You get to play as Carmelita, and there is a trophy attached to defeating Mugshot without taking any damage. This game does have the rewind feature, so this is a very simple trophy.
What a shocking defeat. As Carmelita defeat Mugshot without taking damage. Okay, that was so easy.
You end up in a boss fight with the Black Baron on top of an aeroplane, and upon defeating him, you learn he's actually Penelope in disguise, and she of course agrees to join the crew, and I of course get a trophy for beating the episode.
RC Specialist Penelope. Complete all jobs in episode 3, Flight of Fancy.
In the 4th episode, Bentley decides they're going to need a demolition expert if they're going to break into the Cooper Vault, and they decide to recruit Panda King, who is of course one of the Fiendish 5 who killed Sly's parents. This of course causes a lot of tension between the group, and Panda King actually is like totally holistic now. He's like, I'm meditating, I don't blow stuff up, but he still does low-key hate Sly, so it makes for an interesting dynamic. But I do get my first trophy here for using the bouncy ball power-up as Bentley again to get into this secret room.
Welcome to the bounce house. As Murray reached the room inside the tower. Okay, I saw this opening and I was like, what is that?
The next trophy was probably the most difficult one of the game. Murray manages to find the crew's van and wants to bring it back and use it. And to do this, you have to guide Murray as Penelope flying in the chopper and get rid of any enemies before they hit him. And he cannot take any damage at all or you will not get the trophy. There is also a second section to this trophy where you again guide Murray down this hill, but this time you're playing as Panda King and you've got to shoot any enemies before they can reach him and damage him. This was nearly impossible, and if it wasn't for the rewind feature allowing you to go back to before you were hit, I honestly think this would take like hours. This one trophy would take hours. But unfortunately, I completed this about 6 or 7 times and the trophy would not pop. And it turns out the reason is the trophy actually accounts for these earlier sections of the level where you use Penelope's chopper to carry the van, which is encoded in ice, through the river without taking damage. And also this part of the level where you have to defend the van from enemies as you wait for the ice to melt. This was the most frustrating part in my opinion. And once you do all 4 of those sections without being hit at all, the trophy will pop.
Okay, you've got to do the whole mission. The whole mission without getting damaged, not just those first 2 parts.
The big bad of this episode is this guy, Sal, who has kidnapped Panda King's daughter, and we're trying to get her back as a trade for him being a part of the gang. And this is one of the worst boss fights I've ever done. You have to leap from tree to tree and wait out his attacks and then try to get him. And it was just monotonous. impossible at times. It felt very RNG, even with the rewind feature. I just hated this. I think it's definitely the worst boss fight in the whole trilogy. And thankfully, you do get a trophy at the end.
All talk and no crow, as Sly defeats Sao without taking any damage. Man, that's one of the least fun boss fights I've ever done in gaming.
Weirdly, after that boss fight, there's still like an hour of gameplay to go, but you do get to learn how to play as Panda King and use his firework attacks, which was pretty fun. Eventually, you end up rescuing the Panda King's daughter and fighting this giant dragon in the sky, which was another bit of an annoying boss fight. But you defeat him, and that's the end of the episode. Also, here you discover that Penelope really wants to bang Sly, which really pisses off Bentley, which causes some friction that will come in later in the story.
Demolition Specialist, the Panda King. Bro, such a long level for no reason. Like, there's a cutscene, and then you gotta run for 2 minutes to another cutscene. Like, I hate it. I can't stand it, man.
In episode 5, we team up with another enemy from the first game, Dimitri. We actually helped him escape from prison in the prologue of this game in exchange for him telling us where Bentley was. In exchange for a favor, he's now cashing in that favor that we must go and defeat this pirate who stole his father's deep sea diving gear. This episode also introduces ship battles where you can go around fighting other ships trying to destroy them. This is worth it, one, as you get so many coins and so much loot from doing this that it really helps work toward the trophy later on for buying all the upgrades. And secondly, there is a trophy itself for getting the highest rank of pirate, which is Dread Pirate. You need 90 points to get this. You get 1 point for destroying a ship, as you'll see here, and 2 points for capturing a ship, as you'll see here. This was about a 2-hour process, and here is the trophy.
Beware the dreadful Cooper gang. Attain the rank of Dread Pirate. Honestly, that was like a grind. Like, that took like 2 hours of just doing those boat missions, but I didn't hate it just because like I actually got to play the game without Bentley interrupting me every 2 seconds to tell me how to press circle. So, and it also was worth it just for the amount of money I got. Like, I'm gonna be able to pay off so much debt.
You do play an underwater diving mission as Dimitri, and your goal here is literally to capture sharks, but there's also treasure chests you can find, and when you find all of them, you get a trophy.
I open with joy as Dimitri break open 4 chests underwater. Great. I'm actually not sure what I'm meant to be doing in this level.
Further on in this level, there is a battle against this underwater sea creature. You have to play him in 2 stages, once as Panda King and the second as Sly. And of course, there is a trophy for doing it without getting hit.
Crushed it like it was nothing, as the Panda King and Sly defeat Crusher without taking damage.
The Guru ends up taking control of the mind of that sea creature we just defeated and uses it to save Penelope, who had been captured earlier by the pirate. You then finish the chapter by playing as Penelope and defeating him.
The Frogman Dimitri. Complete all jobs in episode 5.
Episode 6 starts where the prologue finished, and Carmelita the baddie of course comes to save us from Dr. M while we're trying to infiltrate the Cooper Vault. Dr. M is important as he was friends with Sly's dad. He was basically the Bentley to Sly's dad. And he got jealous and was very happy Sly's dad was dead and is trying to break into the Cooper Vault, obviously. This is thematically good as we know Bentley is jealous that, what's her name? Persephone? Not Persephone. Penelope. I'm scruffing up this voiceover, man, but I'm leaving it in. Penelope wants to hook up with Sly, so he's mad about that. So yada yada yada, we got what's going on right now. Sly also gets a concussion, which will come back later. You then play as every character we've come across and recruited throughout the game, starting off with the Guru possessing some sharks. You go diving as Dimitri, which screw these missions, he's so hard to control the dives, I hated them. You also use Penelope's RC car, which I haven't actually shown you up until this point because these missions are so boring. You then finally make it into the Cooper Vault where you uncover the legacies of all Sly's ancestors. And to get through the Cooper Vault, there's 6 stages and you just platform using all the Master Thief abilities you've learnt over the trilogy. This is all I wanted from the second and third games, man. I just wanted to platform and not be interrupted by Bentley being like, oh, Jesus, I want to fuck Penelope. Oh, like, this level was great. Best level of the second and third game by far. The Cooper Vault is of course full of cobwebs as it hasn't been opened for a while, and if you destroy 30 cobwebs, you get a trophy.
Little spring cleaning. Remove 30 cobwebs in the Ancestors Gauntlet job. Lovely.
Eventually you find the Vault of Sly's dad, which is very cool. It's what the whole trilogy has been building towards, really. And you can get a trophy right here for just looking at this laptop.
Hello you. Receive a message from the computer in the Ancestors Gauntlet job.
I then learnt the final Master Thief ability, which was Sly's dad's ability to slide on lasers, and I got a trophy for doing the gauntlet without taking damage.
This must be the inner sanctum.
Nivius Perfectus. Complete the Ancestors Gauntlet job without taking damage. Thank you, rewind feature.
You then finally go on to the boss fight against Dr. M. Carmelita then shows up, and Sly actually takes a bullet for her, which sends him flying. And if we remember, he was concussed earlier, so this is very serious. You then defeat Dr. M playing as Carmelita, and it turns out Sly, due to that gunshot wound or blaster wound, whatever you want to call it, has lost his memory. Carmelita tells him that they are partners in the law enforcement, and they get married and live happily ever after. And that's the end of the game.
Knowing what's more important. Complete all jobs in episode 6.
There is a hint in the credits that Sly has been faking his memory loss. Maybe we find out what happens with that in the 4th game, but for now, I have trophies to get. Throughout the game, there are 3 disguises you unlock that you can wear and use it to get past guards. If you go back into episode 1 and get spotted by a guard wearing all 3 disguises, you get a trophy.
Likely awful work. Failed to pass a guard in every disguise in episode 1. That's an easy trophy.
Playing as Bentley, you're able to sneak up on enemies and drop one of his bombs in their pockets, and for doing this 5 times, you get a trophy.
Pocket stuffer. As Bentley, drop a bomb in 5 pockets. Sweet. I think I've just got one more trophy to do with Murray.
The next trophy was with Murray, and it was using 5 of his abilities to defeat enemies. The last one I needed here was the Sumo Slam.
I'll bend you like the truth. As Murray, defeat guards with 5 different power-ups.
Like 20 seconds later, I finally bought the last upgrade, which was the last miscellaneous trophy of this game.
Bag of tricks, obtain all power-ups. Alright, I think I can move on to the Master Thief challenges now.
The Master Thief challenges are obviously challenges you can do from each episode. Each episode has about 6 challenges, all of which are very basic and very easy to do. They're all the same variation of missions you've already done in the story, but you've either got to complete them under a time constraint or with half health. So with limited health or a time constraint. And there are very few occasions where there's a little gimmicky challenge you have to do, like you'll have to defeat an enemy while also collecting 20 coins. And they're just very, very simple to do. It's not very entertaining at all. Luckily, you could get them done quick. The only fun ones really in each set was each Master Thief challenge like set finishes with a treasure map hunt. I'll show you this really quick. This is the treasure map challenge. This is literally you just have to find a place on the map corresponding with the clue you're given. And when you find it, the clue will update and you just have to press X to pace and follow the instructions. I actually really enjoyed this component of the game. There was one in episode 5 that you had to do, and that was it. I really wish it had been more prevalent throughout the game. But with that being said, that's basically the crux of the Master Thief challenges, so we don't need to go through every one individually. So I will show all the trophies now. And with all the Master Thief challenges done, all that was left for me to do was to view all the gallery.
Yeah, this might be it. A Cooper's Legacy, Platinum, and the Trilogy done. Amazing. First game, great. 2 and 3 are overrated.
Thank you for watching. Please comment down below which Sly Cooper game is your favorite. My thoughts I thought were pretty clear. I love the first game. 2 and 3 I could have done without. I know a lot of people say 2 is the greatest game of all time. I actually thought it was the worst of the trilogy. My ranking would definitely be 1 at 1, 3 at 2, and 2 at 3, if that makes sense. I will definitely be playing the 4th game when it goes to PS5, and that's what we've got to look forward to. So, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, all that stuff. Goodbye.